Germain is a sixth-generation Brujah anti-tribute who was embraced at first to serve as a tool against Countess d'Adhemar. He was the fifth anathema of the Red List and was later reevaluated to the eighth. In his mortal days, Germain was a devoted follower of Jacques Turreau in abolitionist France. When his idol was dismissed by Louis XVI in 1776 due to his financial pressures and concerned Toreador, Germain raged against the monarchy and joined the revolutionary cell of Giardists, who were ghouled by the Brujah elder Critias. Although Germain suspected supernatural involvement from his compatriots' strength and resilience, they refused to tell him their secrets until he was brought to their master himself, who resided in a small village in Switzerland. Germain tried to coerce the vampire into giving him his blood, but Critias dismissed him, stating that he was destined for other things. As the Toreador became more oppressive on their mortal charges to keep the population from rioting, he met the Countess d'Adhemar, who was ensorcelled by his handsome face and impertinent behavior. He acted as a double agent, using the noble woman who was secretly a Toreador to get close to the royal family. When the French Revolution began, Germain's role was exposed, and he found himself on the run from enemies among the Toreador elders, who had lost their resources during the Revolution. In 1792, Critias caught up with him and rewarded his role with the embrace, and tutored his child in the use of his new powers before leaving for the New World. Germain lived in revolutionary France for a time, relishing in his new abilities and hunting counter-revolutionary elements to feed upon. In 1793, however, his old enemies had found him. He was cornered in a park by the Countess and her agents, and only barely managed to escape with his unlife. He fled over the Atlantic and began to search for his sire, believing him responsible for the attack on him. During his travels across the United States, he came to despise the Camarilla, seeing them as corrupt as the court of the Bourbon kings of his lifetime. Although he supports the concept of the masquerade, for his transgressions against the Countess d'Adhemar, he was placed on the Red List by the Toreador's sire, the Justicar Madame Guy. While Germain mostly involves himself with elements of the anarch movement, the Sabbat has expressed interest in recruiting him, and Critias silently supports his child from the shadows, using him as a ploy against Madame Guy. After he was nearly finished off by Justicar Petrodon in Seattle, Germain was on the run to the East Coast. In the late 1990s, Germain reached Chicago. After a run-in with the local sheriff, he quickly became friends with another Brujah, a boy named Damien. Together, they seek to educate the anarchs on the true meaning of what they are all about. Greetings, kindred. Atlanta's over. I've said it. I've said it a couple times. But I am having such a hard time getting out of it. I had such a great time with just friends and events and meeting all these amazing new people. But today we are going to focus on a specific aspect of my experience at Darkness Emergent Atlanta. And that is the fact that a little while before Atlanta started, Jimmy approached during a conference meeting while we were going over the details of the Giovanni wedding planning session and asked me if I would be willing to play an NPC. And, well, as my last video, Mekhet's explanation, explained, I was in a precocious situation as far as what I was going to play. I had originally considered that my main character for Darkness Emergent Atlanta was going to be the Prince of the City of Fort Myers for the LARP that I run, Prince Abraham Charles Myers of Clan Toreador. But this opportunity was just something that I could not turn down, and I wrestled with it for a couple seconds. I am aware from other people telling me this over and over again that Germain, the Brujah, 5th generation child of Critius, is Jimmy's favorite character, apparently. So I was massively honored that he came to me and asked me to play this, that he trusted me with something that he cares about so much, because we latch on to these characters, the ones that we absolutely love, the ones that we want to read more about and see what's happening. And this was a huge deal for the Darkness Emergent storyline, because although it does run adjacent to the regular stuff that you read in the books and can find online and things like that, there is slight deviations. That being the thing, this was an open plotline. This was something that did not have a defined end. And it really had a lot to do with the way that I portrayed this character that would see the outcome. So that is what we are here to share with you. I did a teaser over Instagram and YouTube Shorts and stuff like that, where I showed everybody the costume. But there is something that I added, and I really wanted to show this to you guys because I was really, really excited. So I wore this boar skin leather vest. Was very happy to find this at a thrift shop. It was genuine hog leather, it says on the thing. I love this thing. I'm not much of a vest wearer, but I did stop on my way to Darkness Emergent and pick up a paint pen, and I put that on there. I'm just so happy with the way that it came out. Like it's just like a little additive, but I freaking love this. Anyway, so I took some time and I familiarized myself with the character Germain. He is a very interesting character as far as the Anarch movement goes. And he's kind of a tragic story because his sire, Critius, is the Brujah Primogen of Chicago. He's the one who runs Kevin Jackson's finishing schools. He's one of the eldest kindred who are still active tonight, like Critius is. And his sire is the one who is responsible for everything that this guy has ever done, as far as getting involved in kindred politics and all that stuff, and attacking the French bourgeoisie, and it's just like it's just so much. It's just so much stuff, and there's so much absence and neglect from Critius, and unfortunately that carried over to this. But I think it was circumstantial more than anything. Critius, as I found out in the Chicago Darkness Emergent, is being expertly played by Jason Carl. And oh my God, when I found out that I was being trusted with this honor to play Germain, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some daddy issues, and role play with Jason. But unfortunately, dear Mr. Carl, the Antediluvian of storytellers, as I like to call him, he was unable to attend Atlanta because he was doing other big things. I think he was storytelling in a castle at the time, and I can't fault him for that, like, at all. But it did give me a lot to work off of as far as Brujah angst. There were many a times that I would be brooding and somebody would come up to me and go, "What's wrong?" And I would go on basically the equivalent of, "My dad went out for milk 200 years ago and hasn't come back." And I had a very good time playing it. So I guess everything started at the Meet the Authorities uh, event on the first night of actual roleplay. So anyway, Bridget Jeffries, amazing role player, amazing actress. She played Prince Monica Monroe, the newly instated Prince of Atlanta, child of J. Benison Hodge himself, the previous Prince of Atlanta. And she, this amazing actress, was playing the best Malkavian ever. I got to watch how she wove herself in and out of social situations, how she had emotional outbursts at anarchs that were in the area, how she bragged about the work that she had done to get rid of the Sabbat in the area. And then on the very last night, I will get to it, but I had this most amazing, just absolutely amazing scene with Bridget, and oh my god, I am also very very happy that after meeting them, I'm so proud to have my friend group expand with such talented people. Now, with Bridget playing Prince Monroe, we also had other special guests. One of which being the amazing Mark Meir. Mark Meir came in and played. I'm going to try to stick with one pronunciation of this name, but I suck at it so bad. Special guest Mark Meir played Tigirius, the elder Banu Hakim judge, representative of the Ashira, and diplomat effectively for the Camarilla. Mark was playing my jailer. Back in Chicago, I believe it was, or LA, one of the previous Darkness Emergents, I was unfortunately unavailable for that, or at least I wasn't involved in this, I should say. I was there. They had a different guy come in and play Germain. And he turned himself in exchange, like he turned himself into the Camarilla as a red lister. He turned himself in exchange for two things. One, that the Anarchs would gain holding over Las Vegas, Nevada, which is how we ended up getting into the Las Vegas game. So yes, I guess this was Chicago. And the other one is that he would be given a fair trial. Now, the Camarilla at which point turned him over to Tigirius, who has been holding him this whole time. And this man is all about honor. He is all about justice. And I have to say that Mark did a splendid job playing him. I had such a great time with my interactions with Mark. Playing with a seasoned actor like that was just, it was amazing. We had a great time. There's a couple of out of character like moments that we got to share. When I first got to meet Mark, it was when he first arrived, I believed, and he had walked into the vendors area to speak to some important people about what he was going to be doing. And I got to walk up to him, shake his hand, introduce myself. I was like, "Hey, I'm Mekhet. I'm going to be your bitch for the weekend." So he thought that was funny, and anyway, it was a very good time, great experience working with Mark, and then his lovely wife from the Vermilion Wedding, Victoria Ash. We had the return of the epic, the talented Miss Magitech. Tracy is just superb. And I cannot see anyone else playing her now that I've interacted with her so much. Tracy and I have also worked together highly on the Giovanni series or I guess I should say the Hecata series of side LARPs that have been happening at Darkness Emergent. This was actually the second one. We plan on having a third one in Los Angeles, which should be big. It should be the Hecata wedding reception between my character, Andreas Giovanni, and the lovely, lovely Catherine Milliner. played by an amazing role player by the name of Caroline. Caroline is just, oh my God, superb. Just, I'm so happy to be surrounded by such talented people. Anyway, Tracy playing Victoria. I don't know what the hell it is, and I'm sorry for these side tangents, but I'm still amped up. I'm recording this on November 20th. I got back a while ago, and I'm still just hyped about how much fun I had. For some reason, whenever Tracy and I, who get along very well, are in a role play situation together, she's trying to kill me. Which I absolutely love. She's such a great adversary to play against. She's so devious and so honest in the role play about it. And her as Victoria Ash, she embodies everything that is enchanting about that character. And I got to play her just the way that the story was rolled up together in Darkness Emergent Atlanta was she was effectively my nemesis. She was the one pushing for justice for what happened to the Toreador in the 1700 at Germain's responsibility, of course. And she is playing a character who's married to my jailer and to my judge. I don't see any corruption in that one. No conflict of interest whatsoever. I bitched quite a bit to anybody who would listen about that. And I had an amazing scene, which details I know I will get into them, I promise. But I had an amazing scene with Tracy. It was about 5 minutes, and it was heart wrenching. But then most of the time it was just this angry back and forth with each other, and I absolutely just had the best time playing with Tracy. Who else? Who else do I need to talk up? Because everybody was just amazing. Cynthia Marie. Cynthia Marie was there, reprising the role of Vera Velasquez, the Prince of San Antonio. I love the fact that she was there. It ended up bouncing into my Mekhet stuff. That was just so great to have her there, as always. Victoria Reeve was there. She is first off, just a beautiful person inside and out. I absolutely loved the limited interactions that I got to have with Victoria. She was playing the Seneschal of Atlanta, the second to Prince Monroe. And we didn't have much interaction the first few nights, but that last night, cannot wait until I get to that part of the story. Anyway, I think that's about as far as I'm going to go into the accolades and stuff like that. But I have so many more because I would totally just sit here and gush on the players that I got to interact with. The Meet the Prince event, which was from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Ventanas on the 14th floor, and this was for the individuals who held the Elder Plus tickets. My job, basically, was to walk around and cause intrigue. By Night Studios spared no expense. We had an amazing open bar, which was provided because, Elder Plus and all that. It was just oh my God, amazing service. The hotel staff did awesome. But I got to walk around and brood, and they had given me an envelope full of boons that I would be able to give over to people, which I warned people, it's like I could be dead in just under a week. So if you want them, use them quick. Or trade them to other people that you don't care about and watch them fail. But I had a lot of great interactions with individuals. Didn't really get too involved in anyone's personal stories. I walked around brooding as the prisoner Germain, who was effectively on an honor system. Germain, for this storyline, was allowed to wander around without shackle, at least that people could see. I was, by story, thaumaturgically bound to the building. And if I had done anything, I would have just been taken out by Tigirius himself, and but my character wanted something. I turned myself in on purpose, and when anybody asked me, the entire time that we played, I told them that I want to go out on my own terms. Primarily because, and I only told a select few people about this, Germain was being beckoned. And he knew his time was numbered. He knew that there was a clock. And the only way that he could stop himself from being beckoned was to turn himself in and try to get one good hit for the Anarchs. Because I was trying to do something. I had gotten into the mindset, I had gotten myself all worked up, and that was either the Camarilla was literally going to give me a fair trial, in which case they've set a precedence. They will give a fair trial to other Anarchs. That was the whole point. The idea is, even if I get lost, even if I fail, it sets that standard. Or I win, in which case it's a massive victory for the Anarchs also. So I wasn't doing this for some internal need or anything like that. In my mind, Germain was, he was dying, and he was going to get his point across. I bitched to a few people that Critias wasn't there, which was a lot of fun, and it just all in all had a great time. The Darkness Emergent LARP, again, held at the exact same place, 14th floor of the Venetius the next night, was also amazing. This is where things started to get a little bit more insane, okay? I had so many amazing scenes with somebody. I got pulled to the side by a Ventrue. I believe the Ventrue character's name is Jura. I've never met him before. I think this was his first time. Superb role player, got in my face personally and made it so that his character was part of the story. With this night, oh my god, I got to throw a massive rant. At the very end of it, he stopped me and he was like, oh my god, that was just like such an experience. And I have to admit, because he made it that way. He played into the drama that I was performing. I could see myself, like the table that was in front of us, just potently whipping that thing off the veranda. But I was just so keyed up about how I was not. He wanted me to go and try to make amends with Victoria Ash, which is really ironic considering what happened shortly after this. But he came up to me and he's like, why not, as a sign of good faith, go try to make amends with Ash? And I just lost it. I went all Brujah, all revolutionary, all Anarch on this thing. And I just started, a crowd started gathering, listening to me. Like, I could feel the eyes on me as everybody's like, oh shit. he's pissed. Because I went on this whole like, why? Why would I do that? I am here for a specific reason. I'm here to prove a freaking point. She has no reason to be accusing me. If an accusation without foundation is just a sign of admission. I started telling everybody that Victoria Ash was the person who probably killed all those Toreador to up her own status. It's kind of funny how she just came out of nowhere and then all of a sudden was just popular. So, yeah, no, I went in on the whole, like, oh, maybe it was her who did it thing. So, it was just a lot of fun. That night also, I was given these playing cards and stuff to hand out that helped out with a poker game. Really not much to go up on there, but I did have a lot of fun. I was given 2 of the Jack of Spades, which I ended up giving out to people who helped me. Because while this is all going on the second night specifically, I'm given a packet of evidence. I'm given a packet of evidence that is a letter from my prime accuser, the Countess herself, that basically says that her child was the one who committed the majority of the crimes and that she was using me as the fall. There was a printout of text messages of my character, which basically says that I would protect Camarilla or Anarch. It didn't matter. If somebody was being held by injustice, I would stand up for them. Oh, wait, no, the text messages was about us taking out the circulatory system, so it just kind of pushed the whole equality, freedom for humans, respect for what you eat, I guess, storyline. But then a postcard that was from a Camarilla to Germain thanking me for saving them from anarchs who were attacking them for no reason. So it's just proving that I'm just not against injustice. Um, so one of the things that I got to do, and this was just amazing because an ever evolving storyline. I had talked to so many different people. First off, I got to hang out and play with Bully, who plays a character named Toledo. Bully has his own YouTube channel. Amazing stuff. I've seen him at Darkness Emergent. His channel is called Summoned Stories, and you guys have got to check it out. He does great. He does great book reviews. He talks about the events that he goes to, and he played Toledo, my lawyer. He was Anarch, and I believe he was Thinblood. I believe he was He was either Thinblood or Caitiff, or and I don't remember which. But oh my God, the passion he puts in it. Toledo was hilarious. He was like comic relief, but also nothing but heart, and I believed the character. Like this seemed to me like a character who was on purpose by Bully. I gotta hand it to him. If he wasn't doing this on purpose, it was amazing. He seemed like a character who was trying to make a name for himself, so he stood out more. He was all presentation, and it was just freaking amazing. I ended up giving all of the evidence to a player to see if it would end up going missing or something like that. I put the story in the hands of the participants. But we talked a lot about my evidence. We went over the various stories. They interviewed me to make sure that I was going to be good at this. The whole time I'm interacting with all these individuals, and this is where it was ironic that Ventrue Jarrah come up to me and was like, apologize, make friends with Victoria Ash. I got approached by a Salubri. Now, this Salubri, his name's Kale, and he has been at most, if not all, of the Darkness Emergence as this character, and I will completely admit that he has been, as far as me playing Mekhet at earlier events, an intimidating sight. He looks like a warrior Salubri. He is all decked out in this armor like leather. His eye is the prosthetic eye that he wears to show that he's a Salubri is on point and intimidating. And he actually wanders around with a small vial of blood so that whenever he utilizes any of the Salubri powers, he drips it in, and he actually has the sight of it. He's got pictures all over the Darkness Emergent stuff. Hopefully we have one to put on here. But oh my God, this scene that I got to run with him. He comes up to me and starts asking me if there was anything I regret about the situation. And I tell him we all have regrets. We all have things that we need to get over. We all have shadows. We all have demons that we have to face. And he's like, I'd like to talk to you. I want to speak with you alone. And this was probably the saddest thing. This scene was seen by no one. It was literally me and Kale. And I gotta say, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. He comes up to me and he performs Unburdening the Bestial Soul on Germain. He digs in, and it's like a therapy session. It lasted for like maybe 10, 15 minutes. It was short. It was probably shorter than that. But he takes my hands, like we lock arms like this. We sit across from each other, and we're in this dark corner away from everybody. There was a scene like maybe 10 feet away from us, but they were so enraptured in what they were doing. No one saw this, and it's a crime. But it was a personal thing. I really wish a storyteller had been there, at least. But we sit there. We talk about Germain's regrets, which the way that I played it off was not a regret of any Toreador that died or any kindred that fell, but any humans that were caught in the crossfire. People doing their jobs who were just trying to take care of their families, who were in the wrong place at the wrong time. That is what I focused on, is the fact that Germain knew that some of his actions caused pain to others. And he performed Unburdening the Bestial Soul. I ran the test myself, and he passed the test. Germain gained a humanity. Let me see his... I was told by storytellers when I first started playing Germain on the first night that basically my character was so OP. I was so powerful that basically I win all ties, and if it's a Brujah thing, I can just have it maxed out completely, like disciplines and stuff like that. Which, looking at his character sheet, which is available on the White Wolf wiki, yeah, no, that makes sense. The man has, let me see, Auspex 2, Celerity 6, Dominate 2, Fortitude 6, Offuscate 3, Potence 4, Presence 6. So, yeah. He's also marked down as a 5 out of 10 in humanity. So, when they told me to, basically, if a test came up, I just won all ties. Be inventive, try to make it cinematic as much as possible. I went, okay, I need structure. And I took it upon myself to open up that White Wolf Wiki article and use that character sheet to at least influence what I was going to do. So I was playing Germain as a 5 humanity this whole time. Now I'm playing as a 6. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard my rant about when my character Mekhet lost humanity, and it just put me into this out-of-character introspective spiral of, what does that mean for me? Who am I as a person? Who is Anthony John Weeks Mekhet? Who is he with less humanity? So I'm sitting there playing a 5th generation vindictive Brujah who just suddenly went up a level in humanity. Before he did this, also, I had to track down... I told him that he'd had to get permission from Tigurius to take me alone, because I didn't want to look like I was vanishing or I was conspiracy or anything like that. And he got permission from Tigurius. Mark was awesome and role-played it out with him and said, no, if you think this would be helpful, having him with a higher humanity might very well be helpful. I tracked down Mark also, at which point, and I told him in and out of character what was going on, pointed him in the direction of Kale's player, and let him know that this was something that was very important to the player, and I really wanted to give this to them. So then I tracked down Jimmy, who asked me about this, he seemed very pleased with the way that I was playing the character, which, yay, honored. He asked me to do it, and it's supposedly one of his favorite characters, so humble brag. But I told him, I was like, hey, just to let you know, this Salubri tracked me down, took me off to the side, asked permission from Tigurius, and we performed Unburdening the Bestial Soul on him, and therefore my humanity has gone up. And he was like, oh, I really want you to lean into what Germain regrets, and the fact that the fact that Critias isn't here, and how you would feel about that. And I was like, cool, daddy issues amped up to 11. Let's do this. So I run back into the play area, and I'm running around, and anybody who comes up to me and they're like, "Are you okay?" Because my demeanor had changed. I wasn't walking around as straight anymore. I was slunched over. I was focusing more on my inner demons. I had found a dark place to sit and brood a couple of times. I was found drinking alone on several occasions, where people were able to come up to me and sympathize with Germain, which was great. I really do think the heightening of the humanity, even by 1 point, did in fact give people something to latch onto. There were various members of the Camarilla who came up to me and actually started supporting my side, wanting to know my story, saying they were going to support me in this whole situation. And I would give out boons and things like that in response, or Fang Coin, because we also had a whole bunch of Fang Coin, which is the By Night Studios Anarch cryptocurrency for kind of thing. It's basically the Anarch version of boons, because Anarchs don't care about boons for the most part in the storyline. And this is where things got sticky. There was, oh, what was he? Was he a Ventru? I think he was a, yeah, he was a Ventru, because I kept in character. I kept fixing his clan pin. It kept turning. Anyway, he comes up to me. We've had plenty of interactions at this point in time. He's got this southern accent. He's wearing this great suit. He looked spot on character. And he comes up to me and he's like, "Mr. Germain." I love it. I love this character. But he comes up to me and he's bloody and he's beaten and his suit's ripped. And some of the players, not this guy, but some of the players literally battle damaged themselves after combat. Like we have one player who fancies herself, and also I fancy them, as a hell of an FX artist, especially one that's on the fly. I have done a lot of haunted houses and stuff like that. It's not really something that I've gone into and stuff, but I've effectively role played for a living more than just this. I've done makeup. I've done special effects and things like that on my own, not for any kind of like massive company. I used to do haunted walks and things like that, haunted houses. But these people would walk away and an hour later come back and look like they had been through hell. So on that, I gotta just amazing. Also, again, beautiful person inside and out. Anyway, so he comes up to me. And he's like, "We ran into the Sabbat and blah, blah, blah. The Sabbat are here." And I was like, Jesus, are you kidding me? And they start talking about Schlachta in the sewers. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. And then the name came up. The name came up. Vikos. Sasha Vikos supposedly was in Atlanta during Darkness Emergent. Sasha Vikos, the Blood Countess, was there to mess with and poke at the new prince and to cause disorder. My brain out of character started just running a million miles a minute. And I was just like, this is it. This is what I was waiting for. When my humanity had gone up, this is it. And I was like, can you attest to this? Did this really happen? Vikos was there. And he's like, I didn't see Vikos, but I did see their servants. And the name did come up. So I was like, you're coming with me. And I yank this person across the play area outside to the veranda where I find Tracy, Miss Magitek, the glorious Victoria Ash, my sworn enemy, sitting down, talking to friends, and I bring him over and I go, Victoria, this isn't about us. I understand that we have a history, but I also understand you have gone through things that no one should ever go through. This young Ventru tells me that Vikos is in Atlanta. And she looked at me with malice and anger and suspicion in her eyes and goes, and what am I supposed to do with this information? I can't leave. I can't do anything about this. I can't put anything at my disposal to use for this. And this is bigger than our feud. This is bigger than us. Tell Tegrius. Tell the sheriff. Tell anyone. Tell someone who can do something. I'm stuck here. But if there's at any point in all that they're after you, save yourself. And there was this look of confusion and suspicion still there. And I looked at Tracy and I'm like, my humanity went up and I do seem genuine. If you want to throw a test, whatever. And she's just like, fine, and gets up and leaves. And I guess goes and tells him that scene. I don't even know where the hell it went. I don't know if anything happened, if there was more fight. I do understand that there was a letter that got out from Vikos, which that scene was just so heart wrenching. The idea of putting personal vendettas aside and letting that small amount of humanity spark. And almost doing what Jura the Ventrue said. Not really a full apology, but an attempt at amicability, something. And I remember that Ventrue looking at me, or somebody around the area. There's just so many people, so many amazing, beautiful people in amazing, beautiful costumes. Came up to me and said, "Why would you do that? She's your enemy." And I said, "Because no one deserves to be at the hands of that monster." It was just amazing. The whole time, also, Daphne Reeder, who was a guest player, also is playing this Tremere, which is great because I know Daphne personally, and she can't stand the Tremere. But she played such a good Tremere. I do find that the people who have a hatred for a clan know enough about them to play why they hate the clan. And Daphne's Tremere was just, mwah, mwah, chef's kiss. It was great. Anyway, so that night was amazing. It was beautiful. That was also the night that Sin, the Baron of Peoria, Illinois, got called out for having this massive, beautiful, and out of character. It was there. He actually had it made. Flag that said, "No gods, no princes," with the Anarch flag on it. And she started calling him out and stuff like that. And me as Germain, I went over and I stood next to him and I looked all tough and stuff like that while that was happening. I don't think it really did anything except for prove that Germain was gonna start a fight even if he was there. The third night, moving on. Now that we're like almost an hour into this, we're getting to night 3. The third night was done at the Test Kitchen in Atlanta, which was beautiful. It was a 2-story building. There was a bar and some seating area on the bottom. Upstairs, more seating area. Gorgeous location. We are said to have had a celebrity chef. I do not know who that was. I still don't. There was just so much going on. I never had a chance to really do that. I was in character a half an hour before games started. People wanted to talk to me. People needed to do stuff. I had gone to the location and I was learning where everything was. It was a beautiful area though. And again, the staff. Some of them had questions on what the hell we were doing. Some of them were interested in what we were doing. And I think we entertained. As much as we were entertaining ourselves, I'm pretty sure we were entertaining our spectators. Now, I got taken by the storytellers and put in a small little alcove with a little table and some seating and stuff. It's like a nice little personal eating area right next to the bathrooms. Worst seat in the house for the Anarch Anathema. But actually, it was very pretty. If that was the worst seat in the house, there's no bad seats in that house. So I'm told this is where I'm going to be held until the trial. So I sit down. Throughout this entire time, by the way, I'm making my reels and my shorts and sending them out and getting some amazing responses from people, players in my game, community members like you, just talking back to me, and I love it. I love it when you guys talk to me. I don't want to be some unapproachable thing. I really don't. I want this community to grow and flourish. It's what I've decided to throw my life into, and you all are part of that. All near 3,000 of you at this point are part of that in everything that I do. And sorry for another side tangent, but thank you for everything. So I sat there for quite some time. I was given a rundown of how things were supposed to go. At least not supposed to go, but at least like the pacing. So I studied that, got my responses ready, and then the most amazing thing happened. People kept bothering me. And when I say that in the best way possible, people kept coming to Germain and talking to him. I got interviewed by a player who pulled his phone out and actually recorded me as Germain talking about why I was doing things. I think I swayed a few Camarilla over to my side on that last night before the trial as well. And then when my my defense team was coming up to me, this was the coolest thing ever. I have I had the opportunity to interact with these players on a minor basis. First off, Toledo came up to me, Bully came up to me, and he was talking to me. And then I found out that a Camarilla Ventru, who is played by a player named Anna, who is just the sweetest person. She is so passionate about her character. And her friend Madison actually are playing like Sister Ventru, and there's this over the last few nights there has been this like, well, anarch look on their faces, and I'm loving that. But for some reason, Anna got pulled over to my defense. I find out that Madison got put over into my prosecution. And this is where the fun thing, I don't want to jump ahead. Oh my God, I'm jumping ahead because I'm excited. But we spend probably half hour, 45 minutes working on my defense together. I had some great intimate role play with amazing players. My defense team, who was just asking me questions, making notes, I found out had worked on my defense like all night. I didn't know they were doing this. I had a handful of other people who just came in just to get my last words or things like that. It was incredible, and it seemed that I was done, that I was a goner, that there was no way in hell I was going to win this trial. But the idea that I was getting the trial was the point. As a character, I did not have fear of death. We get brought out. I get led out by the bailiff. I sit down. And, well, we've got the trial video, so hopefully it's either on this one or it's going to be coming out. I don't know. The trial was amazing. I got so many shout-outs, accolades, compliments, whatever, on the fact that I was losing myself in Germain at that point. Anytime somebody said something that I didn't agree with, I was making facial features. I was told that my body language in my facial features in like the 45 minutes that I had to sit there silent was just enthralling to people, which thank you. I do love role playing, and I love getting compliments for it. So thank you. I had 4 prosecutors. There were 4 PC lawyers working against me. One of which was that Ventru Madison. Sorry, the player character's name is Madison. She's playing a Ventru. And then the other one was that other Ventru who I had been hanging out this whole time with. He took the lead on most of my bad person stuff. The Ventru that I had talked to with the southern accent, who was like, Mr. Germain. And then I had 2 defenders. I had Toledo, played by Bully, and I had Anna's Ventru. I'm bad with character names. I'm bad with names. The fact that I remember you out of character is surprising to me, because not that I don't try to remember people, but because I've got the oatmeal brain sometimes, and I didn't get much sleep last night, so I got the oatmeal brains. Anyway, they read through all the evidence. They did point and counterpoint, and at the very end I got to say my piece, which I was so damn happy about, because I got to say Germain's quote.
But now I think it is time for Germain to speak in his own words. No letters, no missives scribbled on paper, but the words of the accused. You, Germain, may address the court on your own behalf.
I'm not here to say that I never committed any crimes. I committed 3 crimes. Most of which are against the human fuel source. They're humans. They're people. They were supposed to protect, defend, to feed, and destroy. The rich gain weight in their wonderful houses. I helped lead the rebellion. It traveled over to the Kindred Rebellion, yes, very true, because many of the individuals that I helped save, to liberate, eventually ended up giving embrace and they remembered me. I did this. I angered Kindred who were in charge. That letter, the most substantial bit of evidence that I was able to scrape up. That is my original accuser. That is her own words stating that her child had committed things and that she was going to blame me on it. Those things that I am standing here for, not for what I have done, but what I am accused of. We want to have a whole other trial for things that I have done. I will willingly submit. However, these are things that I did not do, that I will continue to stand by not doing. I trust you, your honor, and the truthfulness of the issue. That is all I have to say. If I cared and thought, I would ask that. I care about your opinion and what the true opinion stands for.
When they pulled me up, they Marx Tigrius looked at me and said, "What do you think?" Or like he was like, it was something like, "What do you want to say to the assembled kindred for being here?" And I said, and I got to say, this is the quote from Germain over on the wiki and stuff like that. If I cared what you thought, I had asked you, asshole. And I turned to him and I was like, what I care about is your thoughts. What I care about is justice, not the thoughts of assembled kindred, Anarch or Camarilla. I am here for the ruling. And the entire time this is happening, while we're doing this trial, the players, and I'm so glad that I got to swipe one of these. This is such a great souvenir. The player characters are holding up this. No. Yes. I actually think these should be switched, personally, for Vampire. You know? That should be yes. This should be no. It's like the whole thumbs up, thumbs down things. Roman time. This was good. This is bad. Anyway, yeah. So every time somebody's speaking, whether it's my defense or the prosecution or Tigrius himself or Victoria Ash, who got a few words in because she was my main accuser, everybody would hold this up, whether or not they agreed or disagreed and everything. And this is something that By Night Studios does pretty much at every Darkness Emergent, and I love it. It makes things go by so quickly, and I really need to adopt something like this for my LARP. In Vegas, they had fans, which was really nice because it was kind of hot. Like they had like folding paper fans. This time they had these, which was great. But anyway, yeah, the assembled kindred, my jury effectively were giving their opinions silently, and Mark could see all of it, and he was judging his opinion off the other players. I got to give my final statement, which was basically me going off on my concept of justice and why I'm doing this, and how, regardless of whether I live or die, this is a victory for the Anarchs, and it sets the tone for how the Camarilla should treat Kindred. So anyway, I gave my heart-filled speech, and then he gave the verdict. I won.
I do now render my judgment. You, Germain, shall be stricken from the red list. Yeah!
2 defendants against 4 prosecutions, who all of them tried their damnedest to to win that trial, I was set free. I got to play Germain, the 5th person ever put on the famed Red List, an anathema to kindred society, hunted by the Camarilla. The very first time anybody's ever been taken off the Red List without death. I got weak in the knees. I nearly collapsed. I started crying. It felt so real. I was so dumbfounded. I screwed up a scene. That's how dumbfounded I was. Because I went to turn to Victoria Ash. I went to turn to Tracy, who just looked at me and she's like, "Get away from me!" And like, she ended up having to throw a self-control test and ran out of the room. It was freaking amazing. At one point, the storytellers actually pushed us together and like got our interactions on tape. It's I'm sure you have.
Don't even get out of my sight.
I'm sure you have other issues to deal with.
It was amazing. Every time I passed Tracy after that, the rest of the night, I was like, I was just being the snottiest guy. Anyway, so that is where things should end, right? I won the trial. That is not where things ended. So I get told by the storytelling staff, NPC comes. Actually, no, it was actually a player who was a member of the Iron Horsemen who I didn't get any time with my train friends, with my Iron Horse, with my fellow conductors. I like to call them that. This player came up to us and told us that at 10 p.m. We had a phone call that we had to make. Me and my defense, so Toledo, Bully, and Anna's Ventru. And again, Anna, I'm sorry. If you see this, I'm sorry I don't remember the character's name. I'm horrific at remembering names, and I was just so overwhelmed with everything that was going on that it doesn't stick. It goes inside one ear and out the other. I apologize. So we're mingling and running all over the place, and I finally track them down, and I tell them, I was like, hey, 9:55, I want us to meet by the bar because we have a phone call coming from someone that we need to all be present for. I think it is some type of acknowledgement that you two are going to want. So we agreed, we split up, we're running around doing all this stuff. As we're waiting, and time is ticking, because I'm walking all over the place, I'm getting congratulations, I'm getting, "You're going to screw up." Mark Meir came up to me and gave me this amazing speech, just one-on-one, him and me, about how I got by, and I need to behave. Basically, I was told to be a good boy by an elder Banu Hakim. And I was like, we'll see how things go. So, Sin. 5-I-N. I have to do that because there's multiple people who go by the name Sin, who are friends of mine who go to Darkness Emergent. But the other Sin that I know is C-Y-N. Sin, the Baron of Peoria, comes up to me and he's like, "Germain," like he's so dramatic, and he's like, "We need you. We need your help with something." And I'm like, I am unfortunately tied up. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I really need you for something. And I was like, I want to. I really, really do. And I'm sitting there also talking to, he's a friend of mine, out of character. I'm like, dude, I really, really want to do stuff, but there's a few reasons why I don't know if I should. A, I got a phone call that my character has to be at in like 5 minutes. And B, I don't want to ruin people's scenes by being overtly powerful. I also don't want to just stand there and do nothing while everybody's getting their ass whooped if there's a thing happening. So should I, as Germain, with this ridiculous character concept, character sheet in mind, participate in anything that might be a combat, because there's something to do with First Light happening. There's hunters. And I'm like, I really want to go, but I don't know if I should add a character. And he goes, no, listen. I turned in a boon to get you involved in this because someone is trying to get close to you. And I was like, okay, is this an assassination attempt? Is this an attempt at building an ally? Is somebody trying to make me their mala? What is this? That's everything that's going through my mind. And he's sitting there talking, and I don't want to give the exact words he gave because it was hilarious, but it's not family friendly. He let me know that it was the Seneschal of Atlanta, Victoria Reeve's character, who had like pulled some strings to make sure she could get close to Germain, and from what Sin was telling me, for romantic reasons. And I was like, oh my god, Germain not only got cleared, had a redemption arc with his humanity, but now he gets a love story? Oh, I'm in. I gotta find a way to do this. So I'm like, look, if I can get out of this, or if we can get this phone call thing done before, before it hits the fan, I'll be right with you. I will do everything in my power to be there. So cool. So we get the phone call. Anna, Booley, and I, we trapped down Jimmy Rickett was the one who actually who helped play through it, and it was a phone call from Theo Bell himself. The phone call basically stated that Anna's character was going to get a key that basically she could turn into any anarchs, and basically everything that she had as Cam could be transferred over into Anarch affiliation. So her status could turn into reputation and things like that. Basically, we gave her an out to join the Anarchs if she wanted it. Toledo got his stuff. He's already an Anarch, but he got basically like a renowned reputation for this kind of thing. And then I was told that I needed to get my ass as Germain to Vegas to meet up with Theo Bell to do some planning. Which I'm like, oh god, I'm being beckoned. My whole idea was to do this, and if I won, walk into the, I was moonset. I was gonna say sunset, but that's a bad idea. But walk in, like, go to the east and actually be curious about the beckoning. Go on my own terms. See what I can do. See much havoc I could wreak over there. Maybe come back because there's been rumors that elders have come back. Maybe just maybe I could get there, cause some damage, and get back and tell people what was going on. So it gave me enough time to be able to run outside and get a hold of Sin and the group that they were with. It was actually a fairly large group. We were getting involved in the First Light thing. Apparently, the character Mercy, who is played by Poison Lily, our wonderful, esteemed editor for these videos, very good friend of mine. I find out that they've been kidnapped by the SI. But specifically First Light, and we're going in for a rescue and a full combat. Now, this amazing storyteller who ran this, I'm pretty sure he was a player character, actually. He was dressed as a priest. Awesome guy. I don't think he's in the book, unfortunately. Yeah, that's really sad. He should be in the book because he did an amazing job. I don't know if this was like a trial run as part of the storyteller's team or something like that, but he did a great job running a combat for a good number of players, and being able to keep things under control. And he was able to do the combat in the classic 3 and done style beautifully without compromising the integrity of the story. So if you're watching this, thank you very much for running this combat. It was a lot of fun. He puts us in order, standing order, clockwise, left to right, in order of our initiatives. And I get to stand right next to Victoria's character, who had pulled strings to make sure that I was going to be involved in this situation. So we're sitting there, and chatting up and having a good time talking. And she's just such an amazing person. I'm so happy to have been able to add Victoria to people that I count among friends. We've actually been talking on almost a daily basis since I got back, just back and forth about, life and game and all that junk. Um, but we get into this combat and stuff like that, and she is just like, I don't want to interrupt the players. She is technically a guest. She is a overpowered NPC as well. So she is just using awe and other presence powers to distract. There's a Lasombra who shadow steps. Like there's a Sorry, I'm just all over the place. It was such a chaotic scene. There's a helicopter coming in. There's first light uh, uh, coming down on ropes. I cannot remember what that was called. I used to do that. I used to be in ROTC, and I used to do that, and I cannot remember for the life of rappelling. They're rappelling out of the helicopters. It's just this amazing cinematic moment, and it's just busting out in the chaos. There's a Lasombra who shadow steps from down below into a shadow on the helicopter. There's fighting. He's taking out things. I'm like, I don't want to screw up combat, but all my character is in this situation is a combat monkey. I'm gonna choose one NPC, and I'm gonna just ravage the hell out of this guy. I'm gonna be as angry, just brouhaha as possible on this guy. So I described that my character rushes up to one of the guys rappelling, grabs his leg, yanks him down, and just starts wailing on him. Victoria's using awe to distract. All the other players are doing this amazing stuff. All this combat, guns going off, powers flying all over the place, the hunters flying all over. And the storyteller realizes, oh God, this might get out of control. This is the perfect opportunity for a 3 and done. So he allows us to basically give what we plan on doing in the next 2 rounds. My idea is, okay, I got to end this soon. Let's make this as cinematic as possible for everybody else. So I'm like, the guy that I'm holding, I'm like, do I hit another dude with him? Do I tie 2 guys together at the ankles and use them like, I don't know, hunter chucks? What do I do? And it gets to my turn, because of course it does. I'm towards the very beginning. I'm going on a ridiculous number. And he's like, what do you do? And I go, this is almost over. I need to do something to make things fun for everybody. Ooh! I'm going to, with all of my strength, chuck the guy up into the propeller of the helicopter. So now we have a helicopter that is falling. It is now raining blood and viscera from that hunter that I threw up there. And and everybody ends up, like, the final roll of the 3 and done is, let's see who takes damage when this helicopter crashes and there's like an explosion and all that stuff. It went Michael Bay. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Michael Bay directed that scene. It got really, really, really amazing. So the fight happens. We know things are about to get even worse. We free Mercy. We save her. We succeeded in our task. I don't know if there was another task. There may have been. I was there just to wreck some stuff. Like, I wanted to, like, give people the story of, oh my God, we fought shoulder to shoulder with Germain. This is like the greatest time an Anarch like could ever have. Like, I really wanted to give that to them. And I feel like I did my part. But the storytelling was just like on point. And then a refrigerated truck pulls up. And that's our exit. So we all pile in, and I realize that the seneschal who's sitting next to me has a lot of body warmth, and she's shivering, and she's breathing, and I'm like, oh, she's human. Oh God, is she one of the prince's ghouls? Is the prince using a ghoul to masquerade as a kindred? She's Ventru, to my knowledge. Like, what is going on here? And I go, you're going to freeze. My character has fortitude. I know what I'm going to do. So we're talking about like things, and people are noticing like, oh God, what's going on with the seneschal and stuff like that. Unbeknownst to me, I never find this out in character. She's actually just part of the Seraphim group, which is a cult that worships the concepts of angels, vampires as angels, and beauty. And the higher you get up in that, the more human-like you become. So she is kindred. She's 100% kindred, but she's so high up in humanity at this point because of her dealings with the seraphim that she is suffering from damage from being in the cold freezer. So I gave her my blood and used the whole like I think it's draft of endurance, where I basically said I'm gonna give you a level of fortitude that I have to help you be okay. And in LARP, there is a level of fortitude that literally says you ignore either one source of damage, or there's actually another one that's uh, there's another one that's like you ignore cold completely. And I just figured that would be what I would have, considering the fact that it says in the character history that he had gone to Switzerland and things like that. Cold climate areas, probably something a vampire wants to pick up. We don't do well in cold. Our blood becomes a slushy. So yeah, I blood bond the seneschal. One step. Which, if anybody knows how Laws of the Night, Mind's Eye Theater, Vampire works, that first blood bond point is terrifying because it never goes away. It always stays there in LARP. It's terrifying. So I gave her the blood. We end up going back to the Elysium. We all walk in completely drenched in blood. Everybody's like, what the hell happened? I walk up to Mark Meir and I was like, hey, yeah, you know how you told me to stay out of trouble? If it makes it any better, I was fighting alongside Anarchs and Camarilla, and we took out some hunters. So, so that was really, really fun. Our dear Seneschal was able to give everybody status who participated in the event, and then oh god, this was that tense scene with Prince Monroe that I was talking about. Bridget Jeffries, Prince Monica Monroe of Atlanta, comes up to me, and I guess that Victoria had already gotten a hold of her and talked to her about this, like, I don't know if there's like a Romeo and Juliet, but I love him thing going on. But I had already decided in character that I was going to steal the Seneschal, take her to Vegas, and then when I'm done with Theo Bell, take her beckoning with me. She's not being beckoned, but she's going to check it out. I don't know if it was a vindictive thing or if I just thought it was funny, but I just like, yeah, Germain leaves and he steals the Seneschal. This is going to be fun. Maybe it does just become some dark epic's love story as they fight through the elders together side by side. I don't know. But we go, and we're in the restaurant again. We're in because we were playing outside for the combat, but we're in the restaurant again, and I'm by the bar, and I'm going to get a drink, and I get turned around, and Monica Monroe is right in my face, and I'm effectively like pinned against the bar. There's a great picture of it. I'm sure we've got it, but I'm pinned against the bar. And she has me by like the wrist and the hands, and she's just holding me. And she's like, do you mind if I get a little invasive and creepy and stuff? And first off, people, I love consent asking. Please check to see if people you are playing with are okay with certain things. Consent is very, very important. You could accidentally come across somebody's trauma and make it go from a game to something horrible for them. It's always okay to break character, to ask if everybody is okay and if they're okay with what you're doing. I don't really have any lines and veils. I have a dark sense of humor. I try to be sweet to people. If it's in story, nothing has ever really offended me. But also, that is something that I will completely admit, is that anything could change at any time. I could gain lines and veils. I will express them to people that I play with, and I try to respect other people's. Anyway, so she comes up to me and she's like, out of character, do you mind if I get a little creepy, really close up on you? I was like, no, please. Let's make this something for everybody. And she grabs me by the hands, by the wrists and stuff, just her fingers, and she's just like, she just starts smelling me. And I was like, oh, creepy. And she's being a damn good Malkavian. She is like right up in my face. She is spouting nonsense. it really felt like I was being internally examined by an oracle. It was very, very interesting. And then by the end of it, she just looks over at her seneschal and she looks at me and she's like, "Oh, this is a good one. You keep him." And I'm like, "Ah!" She sanctioned the relationship. It's very, very fun. Um, I got to have a couple other small event moments with people, which was really, really good. Our time at the test kitchen was just amazing. And then afterwards was when we went back to, I believe that the club is called Apache XRL or XLR, sorry, dyslexia, for Karaoke of the Damned, where all of you have probably already seen the ridiculous of me not having any shame. I will get back up on stage. You will listen to this horrible voice again. And I am trying to decide what it's going to be in LA at this moment. Um, Highly considering the King George song from Hamilton, truthfully, because I absolutely love it. But it's got to be something that makes sense for what's been going on. And we're going back to LA, which is why I did Pink Pony Club. Anyway, I just had an amazing time. We did the closing session, closing ceremonies kind of thing the next morning at 11 a.m. While everybody was like ready to check out and be done, we were getting ready to leave. I just had a beautiful time. Germain's story is that he and the Seneschal possibly went to Vegas. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to be asked to play Germain again. I think if I was asked to play Germain again, I got the clothes. I don't mind screwing up my hair. I'll play that character again. You guys want me to play a Methuselah anytime? I'm in it. I had a lot of fun playing Germain. That's basically all I'm saying. The trial was so intense. I lost myself in it. Anytime anybody said something that bothered me, I was like, I was lip twitching, fangs sticking out. People walking by me that I didn't like, I was eyeing them. I was licking my fangs. I was just angry. I was just playing Bruja. I loved it. I had so much fun. I really wish I could have played Germain for that one scene back in Chicago, just for continuity purposes. But I had so much fun. And plus, back in Chicago, people didn't really. I think that was like what the second Darkness Emergent. So yeah, City of Big Shoulders, Chicago wasn't. People didn't know me that well. They knew I was a troublemaker from Atlanta, or not Atlanta, from San Antonio. They knew I was going to cause problems, but they didn't know I was going to, they didn't know my roleplay style. They didn't know how much ball I'd play when it came to doing things for NPCs and being willing to just have fun with people. I would totally do it again. Lots of fun. Anyway, that being said, that was everything that I can remember that happened with Germain's storyline. It was so intense, and I met a lot of really amazing people who I'm not gonna even lie. I'm not gonna exaggerate here. They have literally changed my life already in so many ways, and you probably know who you are if you're hearing this. But I think that's all I have to say. I've kept you here for almost an hour and a half. If you've listened to this whole thing, thank you very much. I'm going to do this. The shameless self-promotion time. If you thought that this video was entertaining and you would like to have more content like this, you want me to continue going to DE, you want me to continue giving you breakdowns of the events that happen in this kind of format, let me know by dropping a like. Please hit like. It actually helps me out a lot. I don't know if a lot of people will know about this, but this is my job. I do this. I actually don't get paid jack by YouTube. And that's really not the point. This is outreach. This is community outreach. I love doing this for everybody. I love talking vampire and World of Darkness and all the people that I get to meet, and I just feel so freaking fortunate. But yes, like this video. Like it! Comment if you had an interaction with me. as Germain, and you want to share it, and you want be as detailed in those comments as you want, I will read them. It might take me a while, but I will read them. I know I interacted with a lot of people. A lot of people interacted with me in such amazing ways. And leave a comment. I want to know exactly what you think. And of course, if you are not subscribed to my channel, any of my channels, I do have a vampire, a werewolf, and a hunter channel, by the way. Considering making a personal channel that's just me not talking World of Darkness, but personal stuff. Subscribe. Subscribe. I want to see if I can get all of the people who are on the vampire to just subscribe to the hunter and the werewolf one. I want to see if we can get even numbers. Although they are fledgling, there's not much on them. That would be amazing. So yes, please subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, all that junk. And if you are interested in having this babbling mess of an individual act as your storyteller, head on over to my Patreon. Check out my menu. It's free to look at. It shows you everything that I do, everything that I offer. I do one-shots, I do personal games, and I also have the Our World of Darkness Discord server, which is actually called the Our Server of Darkness, which is members only, where people get to play and interact, and it's pretty much a 24/7 roller coaster ride, guys. So if you're interested in that, at least check it out because it's a lot of fun. I am Voivode Mekhet. This has been a breakdown of basically everything that happened with Germain at Darkness Emergent Atlanta, and I am so looking forward to going back to Los Angeles next time. It's going to be so much fun. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Perhaps we'll see Mekhet again. Perhaps I'll bring in something else. I do want to. I want to play other things, but I also want to round out Mekhet's story. I can't be like, I faked my death and everything was over and done without me even being there. I do believe that I have some boons to pay back. I have some thanks to give, and I believe, Tempest, you owe me another punch in the face. So we'll see how that goes. With all that, everybody have a good evening. Be safe. Try to have fun in everything that you do. Escapism is just, it's part of life at this point. I think it's important. Don't bury yourself to the point where you don't have your life, but give yourself some enjoyment. I will see you in the next one. Good evening. The storytelling team, Daniel specifically. Daniel, yeah, I gotta call you out, man, because you worked with me like so much on this. I worked with a lot of the storytellers, but Daniel, oh my God, where are you? Where's the list of storytellers? Just going through this right here. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this right. Okay, Jimmy Reckett, awesome. Your direction, your inspiration, your vision on this, just, you did an amazing job, man. I absolutely love participating in what you do, and I am honored that you allowed me to do this. BJ Altman, you're just fun to piss off. I love role playing with you. I think that I pissed you off a good amount of times as Mekhet, and we didn't get much time for this time around, like working together one-on-one, but you are always you're just a delight, man. Chris Hill, I did not get any time with you at all this time, but I bothered you constantly in LA, and I think we had a couple moments during one of the side LARPs in Chicago, and I just got to say, wonderful mind as a storyteller, beautiful person inside and out. Thank you so much for being you and everything that you do here. Daniel Briscoe, this is the man that I'm talking about here right now. Daniel, you're awesome. I'll get into you in just a second, but I got two more to cover before we go on to you. Bruce Monarch, I blame you for my loss of humanity in LA. It has been an amazing time playing with you. You, you and I haven't had much time working together, but everything that you've done with me has had a deep impact on my roleplay experience, and I want to thank you. And then Ernest Bluford, dude, the fact that you are officially storyteller now is amazing. You are a force of nature of a person, and just I don't know, you're so warm and so welcoming as a person, and a visionary in your way of telling a story. You've played NPCs for these events, and I'm, dude, dude, you're just, I'm so happy to have you there. All right, Daniel, Daniel Briscoe, um, dude, the stuff you put me through. The stuff that we talked about, the way that we handled this storyline, the slight adjustments to Germain's character history, which actually gave it more depth for me to derive off of and stress, is absolutely amazing. Daniel told me that if I lost, because this was not scripted, this was 100% up to the players and Mark Mear's portrayal of Tigrius. And my defense and prosecution. Daniel told me that if I lost the trial, they were going to give me to the end of the night to continue playing, to basically say my goodbyes and all that stuff as a character, and then probably just be taken into another room, and everybody would just have to assume that Germain was put down. I had other plans. I don't think they would have gone anywhere, but I wanted to give people a show. And my idea was if I had lost the trial, I was going to stand up straight, walk up to the bench, kneel down, move my hair, and offer my neck up to Tigrius right then in there. I didn't care how much playtime was left. If I died, I was going to try to give people something to write home about. I wanted to give people that. I'm putting this all on Poison Lily's hands. However you feel like artistically placing this. Trust your vision. I don't think I could do so much of the stuff that I do as easily and as fun if it wasn't for Poison Lily. I'm so happy to have them in my life and doing all this stuff. So that's my suck up to my editor moment. The storytelling steam. I'm not much of a vest whaler. Whaler.
May I approach the bitch?
What did you say?
I said, may I approach the bench?
Ah.
What did you think I said?
Because the Ventru clan pin. Suggestion for By Night Studios: as you are producing more of your amazing, beautiful merch, which I spend a lot of money on, could you possibly put 2 pins on the Clan Ventru pin, like two nail? I don't know what they're called. The backing pin. Could you put 2 of those on there so that you can put it on and it'll stay frickin' still? Because the Ventru is constantly spinning. Which I think is funny. He came up to me at one point in time, and I saw it upside down. I'm like, is that like the new way of saying you're anti-tribute? But he was a good sport about it.